Hello, hello, hello. Oh, sorry about that. Yes, the timer did reset. I was all ready to go, and then I sat down and realized I had no fucking clue where my phone went, so I went on a little search for that. Anyways, I think where we left off was, we had just finished talking with the Primogen Ventru, and we got her down from where she was, like, fucking crucified in a very gruesome display, managed to save her life. Skipping today because hyperextensions killed yesterday. Oh, God. I'm back to back day today, but I don't think I'm going to push as hard as I did last time, and I won't try 3 plates again for a little bit. Spoonie. Spoonie wanting to get ahead of the story. All right. Where did we leave off? Yes. Vivian Meyer, the Elder Ventru, was the last one to see the prince. So we went to her house and talked to her. Except somebody else had gotten there before us. And when we arrived with Key and Jordan, she was strung up quite literally like Jesus, crucified, impaled with a stake, which being a vampire doesn't kill her, but it makes her immobile. And when we finally got her to, she thought, for some reason, that she was Corlys, who is our sire. May or may not have fallen asleep last time. Yes. And that's where the chapter ended. So now we are on chapter 4. Council. This is unheard of, Corlys. Such a thing would never have happened under Rundel's watch. Alicia Gray stalks a thin aisle between the seats of the council chamber's front row and a lectern behind which the seneschal glowers at her silently, the seneschal being Corlys, our sire. The Toreador Primogen was the last to arrive, and from her golden hair's perfect curls and immaculate makeup, it's evident, even to the least observant kindred, that her tardiness was, as usual, an exercise in vanity. Her voice carries throughout the chamber, cutting like a knife as it rebounds with perfect acoustics to each and every present ear. There are 32 such ears in total, 2 for each powerful council member, with the unusual addition of Jordan and yourself. 32. Is that 16? Yes. So, 14 council members plus me and Jordan. Fade is seated in an empty chair in front of you, but you doubt that anyone else in the chamber cares much about the presence of someone they can't even see. Bouchard gets to his feet. I'm only here for Teddy. Quay? Who? Do you mean Key? Seaway. Our sire, who Key suspects of doing some shady shit. Yes. And I think even Fade kind of alluded to it. Bouchard gets to his feet, glaring at Alicia as he straightens a lifelike mask of a dignified, middle-aged man to properly align to his true facial features, hidden beneath. Only his eyes show through the delicately carved holes in the mask's too perfect face, and they're bloodshot with what you can only imagine is fury. Oh, Qui-Gon. Qui. Oh, dear Qui. This is not the time for self-promotion, the Nosferatu says with a barely suppressed growl. It doesn't matter whose watch this happened under, only that we get to the bottom of it and execute the guilty. Imagine if this crime goes unpunished, if every neonate in the city believes that they're Primogen or easy meat. He doubles over as a gut-wrenching gurgle cuts off his speech. Take off the mask, Michael, Alicia says, her lips curled in a discreet smile. It's hard enough for you to speak without it. We all know what you look like. There's no need to be shy. The same could be said of you, slag. Bouchard gurgles. That painted face belongs in one of your disease-infested dollhouses, not a council of your peers. Fade leans over the back of his chair, turning to look back at you with a grin. I didn't know there was going to be a catfight tonight, he says. If I knew this was what the council meetings were like, I'd have stopped sleeping during them ages ago. Still, though, these blowhards are dangerous. Play it safe and stay quiet as long as you can. Cease this infantile bickering at once, Corliss says, without rising from her seat. Her voice is icy cold. Slag. Blowhard. Yeah, I imagine it's like, I don't know. I actually don't know what the definition is. In context, it makes sense. I don't know what the definition of blowhard is. Let's see. Blowhard. A boastful or pompous person. Kind of like a very loud bigwig. Someone who talks big game without acting much. Yeah, I imagine it's kind of like, right, a dog with a all bark, no bite. Thank you, Father, for teaching me. Quee feels better in my mouth. I'm sure he'll feel great in your mouth. Yikes. Anyways. We're not here to posture. Alicia sniffs. She knows better than most that facts often play second fiddle to politics. Everyone in the room knows, even if they would never admit such a thing out loud. I'm quietly pleased to see these two fight amongst themselves. Any open conflict is ripe with opportunity for enterprising young kindred. We made the same joke. Did you? Oh, I bet. I'm growing weary of this. There are more serious things to discuss than makeup and masks. It is a little petty watching them fight like this. I watch closely, intent to learn ways to get under each of their skins and manipulate them for my own gain. Petty squabbles such as this are beneath me. Power is won with influence, not unproductive bickering. Yeah, I'm sure, right? Otherwise, this is, I don't know. I feel like this is what every high-up office looks like. Hello, Simon. Welcome, welcome. Chug a coffee and you're here. I also just chugged my coffee. Poor Bonk Dog. He will be missed. I'm not too sure what to choose here. I feel like we shouldn't outright ignore it. I'm torn, though. I have a soft spot for Bouchard. I quite like him as a character, so I don't know if we want them to be fighting between each other. But, I don't know what the best answer is. Maybe we watch closely. I kind of don't like Alicia, just from my last playthrough. Maybe we'll like her this time. I'm sure we can get to know her well. The most unhinged option is the fourth one. Is it? I think trying to learn ways to get under each of their skin is the most unhinged. There are more serious things than makeup and masks. Yeah. But maybe not to these two. I'm going to go with this one. Intent to learn their ways. Or ways to get under their skin. Their ways. Same thing, right? Key stands up beside Corliss's right. Face locked in a scowl. Enough of this. For a week, our prince has been missing. I'm trying not to get Key and Bouchard too close in their voices, but I think I might by accident. Oops. For over a week, our prince has been missing. And now the last of us to see him has been attacked in their home. Stalked. Driven to dementia. If this doesn't cause you to feel alarmed, then I suggest you pack your bags tonight and leave the city. The assembled kindred murmur disapprovingly. Staked. Oh, you're right. Staked, not stalked. Thank you. Staked is such a strange verb. I think I just inserted one that made a bit more sense. But she was staked. I'm sure she was stalked before she was staked, but we only caught the second one. No one is above suspicion. Key continues, undeterred. I'll be speaking to each of you privately when this council is concluded. Do they mean dementia as forgetting disease or madness? I think they mean forgetting. Well, in a way, I know dementia usually implies, like, forgetting everything, but it also comes with madness. So I think he means just, like, she forgot who she was. Yeah, could be both, right? It's not like old people just sit... I mean, at some point they do just sit there without anything. But something fills that gap. It's usually just the wrong memories. Who is this? This is a farce, Sheriff. A deep voice calls out from the other side of the room. The speaker stands. He's dressed eccentrically in flowing blood red ceremonial robes. Blood red ceremonial robes. And his face is pinched like he just caught a whiff of something terrible. Jordan leans close and whispers in your ear. Someone likes to get dressed up. Leave to the last Tremere in Ottawa to draw attention for himself for no good reason. A farce, Lang. Key raises his eyebrow. Does something about this situation amuse you? The root of the word dementia is madness and insanity, so it could be both. Interesting, I actually didn't know that. Lang? It's an interesting first name. I don't think I've ever... Obviously, we know someone with a username of that, but it's a more unusual name. The fact that you'd suggest... Whoops, this is Lang. The fact that you suggest we'd blame members of our own esteemed council is the issue. Lang says, who else are we going to blame? What? Is it the... I mean, it could be the Anarchs. He goes on to say that. Ottawa is newly besieged by a revived Anarch presence, led by a renegade you know to have a history with our departed prince, and yet you'd have us biting at each other's heels, fighting amongst ourselves, while the clear enemy gathers strength from our weakness. His eyes wander the chamber, eventually lighting on you. Silas had a close encounter with the Brujah, Robert Ward. I am informed that the Anarch took particular interest in Zim. Zim, I forgot we chose the other pronoun. In Zim. In them. No, that's just his username, D. I'm sorry. Tell me, as one so recently assaulted by that rabid dog, where do you believe our good sheriff should turn his gaze? Oh, hell, Fade mutters. Dick move, Lang. If anything should be questioned, it's his choice in robes, blood red at this time of year. You swallow your nerves as 14 powerful kindred turn to watch you intently. You try not to dwell on how many collected centuries they have existed, and how any one of them could destroy you with relative ease. Next you'll tell me that demons aren't real. Yeah, that is something Fade would say, right? Primogen Lang is right. Ward has brought war with the Anarchs to our doorstep. We fight amongst ourselves, and the true enemy is obvious. Pinning the blame on the Anarchs is too obvious. This isn't their style. There's no declaration, no political statement. This smells like an internal power play. I think the blame can easily be narrowed down. Miss Meyer's mind was tampered with. Only certain powerful kindred have such abilities. A Brujah like Ward wouldn't be able to cause that much damage. Maybe a fair point. I'm sure somebody's going to be like, you're fucking dumb. Of course he could. I have to be very careful about what to say. It's impossible to know who to blame. So I'll target the only faction not in the room, the Anarchs. No! Let's be unhinged, like Dee said. Let's be wild. Let's fuck things up. I know you did it, Lang. Ooh, that would get us killed, I'm sure. But I think it's a true point, right? The Anarchs made a very big point about the very beginning of the game. They made a big deal about what they were doing. This, though, there's no message. It is subtle. Yeah, there's no message. There was no Anarch visible. When we fought the Anarchs, it was a direct confrontation. They made it very clear who they were. They have every single time. Exactly, they're pretty out loud. Sniff. So let's say it. Let's say it. This smells like shit. An astute observation, Silas. This response comes not from Lang, but from Kashif, the Banu Hakim Vizier, who you received for Corliss 2 nights prior. Lang would have us forget that it was not the Bruja who left the city with souls harboring disdain for Arundel. The Tremere were furious when the prince extended his hospitality to my clan, and now only one of the warlocks remains here, a token of anger, a festering boil who wants to see the broken clan regain their lost honor. It is easy to look upon the outsiders with hate in our hearts, but it is injustice to punish them without determining proof of their guilt. He shifts towards Key. Is that not so, Sheriff? He makes a good point. They're like modern protests, no subtlety at all. At least someone didn't glue themselves to the street. Oh dear. Well, if they were a vampire, that would have killed them. Key chooses his words carefully, taking his time. There is little benefit to punishing a guiltless party. We all have interest in prolonging our own existence. Vivian Meyer was found not only staked, but bound to a crucifix with barbed wire. Her servants were poisoned, and her butler was cut open with ruthless precision. I would like to believe that if I were to find any of you in such a position, that you would want me to leave no stone unturned during the investigation. Everyone will be answering questions regarding their whereabouts. No exceptions. They'd break the street instead. Yeah, probably trying to get away. Oh no, you missed so much. Rip. Oh dear, did it cut out? I think that's kind of a fair point though, Spoonie. It's like, the Anarchs are, in a way, making protests. And if you're protesting something, you want your protest to be obvious, right? If it's a subtle protest, it might not be obvious what you're protesting. But whoever did this tried to send a subtle and intimidating message. It was not a loud... They are the revolutionaries. Who? The Bruja. Oh, yes, the Bruja. Yeah. No, definitely. Very much, yeah. Now, they have been throughout history. That's usually how it describes the Brujas. The once philosopher kings of Athens who are now dressed up as biker anarchs. The anarchists. Literally anarchs, yeah. Where were we? Yes. No exceptions. Who is this? Oh, Ophelia. My own primogen. We could do no less, Sheriff. A voice rises with crisp clarity above the din of muttered bickering. Any loyal kindred should be prepared to answer your questions and aid the investigation. It's Ophelia, a primogen of Clan Malkavian. As you say, Vivian was the last of us to speak with Arundel. The sooner we can resolve this little dilemma, the faster we can move on and put a rest to these boorish rumors about our prince. She inclines her head in Key's direction. I'll speak with you as soon as the meeting's adjourned. Hello there. Brandy? Brand? I'll say Brandy. Brandy Mrs. 007. Or oh 07, not 00. Hello. Perhaps it is for the best. Kashif says in agreement from a seat beside Ophelia. The sheriff is only doing what he needs to do. Yeah, of course you would agree with the person sitting right next to you. That's not sussy at all. Protest isn't effective if it's open to interpretation. That's a very good point as well, right? I wonder why all these drivers are refusing. No, that's a very good point. If you're protesting something, you want it to be very obvious why you're doing what you're doing and what it is you are doing. This message wasn't clear. Right, it could mean anything. That's strange, Jordan whispers. Why would she volunteer herself? Answering questions about the comings and goings is usually the last thing anyone on the council wants to do. Everything's a secret to these people. She's got to be playing an angle. Key returns Ophelia's nod respectively. We'll discuss the particulars in a moment. For now, I'd like to speak with Vivian while we have everyone assembled. All eyes to Vivian. Vivian Meyer walks hesitantly to the front. Oh, Vivian. For some reason, I thought this was Corliss. Vivian, yes, the woman that was staked and crucified herself, hesitantly walks to the front of the room at the sheriff's request. Her shoulders are wrapped tightly in a white lace shawl as she carries herself with cold self-assurance. It's hardly the level of composure you'd expect from a woman so recently crucified, but it is quintessential Vivian. You possess the ability to scry the soul, gaining input into the emotional state of a subject at the expense of increasing your hunger. But also, like, isn't using the power of the blood in Elysium forbidden? Hunger 2? Fuck it! Why not? We like to live dangerously. Was she at risk of being strung up in the sunlight while she was... That's a good question. I do think there were windows there. I don't remember if it said they were closed or not. It didn't seem to be our concern. The way everybody interpreted it made it seem like she was supposed to be found like that. I did do that, didn't I? Yes, I did. Okay. Miss Meyer, Key says. Tell us... Corliss waves him aside. You're looking well, Vivian, she says, examining the recently assaulted kindred up and down with a disapproving frown. That legendary composure we know and admire. It's hardly indicative of forgetting oneself. Oh, interesting. Is Corliss trying to play it like it's not quintessential. Key... What? Christ. Deep, please. Oh, dear. That legendary composure we admire, it's hardly indicative of forgetting oneself. It seems like she might be trying to play it as, Vivian pretended. The fog has mostly faded from my mind, Vivian replies, with stony calm. Even as kindred, there is a certain degree of dismay incurred by having one's home invaded, being overpowered, and staked through the heart. I lost almost enough blood to sink into torpor, Eden. One might think you'd show a degree of understanding. She smiles, emphasizing her words to make her sarcasm more obvious. She expects no sympathy, nor does she require it. However, with your enhanced perception, you can tell that Vivian is not nearly as calm as she'd like the assembled council to believe. Thanks for letting us know it was you. I know, that is a bit of a sussy response, Corliss. Come on, what the fuck are you thinking? Wallowing in our own empathy won't apprehend your attackers, Corliss says. Tell us what happened. Vivian's eyes go vacant for a moment, and it seems like she's looking inward, searching for lost truth. There was a crash from the front door. My butler, Robert, was yelling. I left my study and walked to the top of the stairs, intending to make an example of whoever dared interrupt me. Then someone came from behind. Someone powerful. Corliss leans forward. Who was it? A name? A sense? A smell? Anything? The Primogen shakes her head, her normally placid face wrinkled with sudden anxiety. You're surprised to find that the anxiety is manufactured. Your powerful abilities show her true feelings with certainty. She's nervous, but not about the attack. You'd say she's focused on the strength of her performance more than the story itself. If you can tell the truth, it's more likely that other kindred with your abilities can as well. Why isn't she being... Oh, if you can tell the truth, it's likely that other kindred with your abilities can as well. Why isn't she being called out on it? Maybe you should keep the knowledge to yourself, just until you know more, lest you step on a politically inopportune landmine. Nothing, she says. Just a feeling of helplessness I haven't experienced since I was a neonate. The next thing I can remember is coming out of a haze, feeding on the sheriff's mortal. Do all these vampires have butlers? What's going on here? These are like the elders of the vampires. This is like the high-ranking council. So they have a lot more than just one butler. Most of them have like a whole slew of servants. The vampire, this is the vampire with butlers party. Everybody without a butler wasn't invited. Jordan nudges you. She hasn't mentioned how I found her, he whispers. Her memory loss from before the assault. Do you think I should say something? Fade shrugs. Better him than you. Thanks, Fade. Go for it, Jordan. It's suspicious she's avoiding any mention. God, Jesus. Ugh. Just like my house parties. It's suspicious that she's avoiding any mention of it. She must be hiding something. Call it out! Go ahead, Jordan. Speak it up. Speak it up. Like Fade said, better you than me. Let her omit it. Corliss needs to know the truth. I don't know, Corliss. That was a bit of a sussy response. Go for it, Jordan. Go for it. We'll just follow what Fade says. Why not? Second one is a good choice. You think so? But Fade wants us to call him out. Or him to call them out. I kind of wanted to go with it. Fade may always have his own intentions, but they haven't led us astray yet, right? Right? What is going on with my hair? Jesus, these headphones, like... Oh, well. I'll try it. I'm curious what'll happen if we follow Fade's advice. Yeah, he mutters. Doesn't quite stack up, does it? Oh, you interpreted that as, if someone's going to call it, better Jordan. Yeah, that's fair, but I kind of want to see what happens. Doesn't quite stack up, does it? Jordan raises a hand, in effort to signal the council that he has something to add to the proceedings. In most cases, Primogen feel free to speak as they wish, but younger kindred require permission and a little more tact. Yes, Mr. Tremblay, Corliss calls on Jordan. You have something to add. You were there, after all. Why should you not have a say? Thank you, Jordan says, somewhat awkwardly, clearing his throat before continuing. Last night, I found Miss Meyer walking down along Queen Street. I said hello as we passed each other, but she looked confused, like she'd never met me before. When I approached and talked to her, she claimed she had no idea of who she was or how she got there. I didn't even remember that. Fascinating. Oh, that is very interesting, because Vivian made it sound like she was in her house when she lost her memory. However, according to Jordan, she didn't know who she was before the attack. Someone had fucked with her mind before the attack, which does not add up to her story. Vivian's face wrinkles with confusion. I don't remember any of that. She seems shocked, but your abilities show more than the naked eye can see. Her shock isn't one of revelation. It's at getting called out. There's fury in there, buried deep. Ooh, uh-oh, exactly. Uh-oh, Spaghetti-O. Oh, dear. VtM, you bitch! Why am I sympathetic for her? She was so rude when we met her. She was so rude. Fuck her. Maybe she did this to herself. I don't remember that. That doesn't look like anything to me. Yeah, damn, interesting. How did you get back to your house if you weren't aware of who you were? Corliss asks. I took her back, Jordan says. God, Jordan, you are like... I don't... More of a himbo than me? Is that what's going on here? I took her back, Jordan says. I thought seeing her home would jog something loose. It, seems like it did. Until she was attacked. But VtM stammers. Corliss's eyes narrow. It seems likely that you've been stalked by this assailant for longer than you thought. How long have you been compromised, I wonder? She looks over to Key. You have your work cut out for you. And you have my resources at your full disposal. In the meantime, I want a full investigation into any and all anarch activity within the city and anywhere on the outskirts. Tell your officers whatever you want. I don't care if we have to suggest the possibility of a terrorist attack. Ward and his rabble must be found and dealt with. She eyes the other kindred, but none of them speak up. This council is dismissed. Something's loose for sure. He's like a well-meaning puppy about to step on a landmine. Yeah, I know. Lang gives an approving nod from the other side of the room. A smug smile plastered on his face. Why? It does make it sound, yeah. But why was she shocked at getting called out? You're right. Maybe she was doing something shady. What the fuck is up, VtM? I don't like her. I forgot. I had actually forgotten how much I disliked her. But no. As the council members get up to leave, Key raises his voice over the murmuring crowd. Pardon the inconvenience, but please don't leave the building just yet. Each member of the council will have a short exit interview, so I can collect a statement. Your cooperation is greatly appreciated. Let me try to angle that correctly. That's a little better, right? Yeah, that's a good distance. The more we work together, the sooner Miss Meyer's attacker will be found and brought to justice. For a moment, it looks like a few plan to leave anyways. But as he leads, the more vocal dissidents. Whatever. Bouchard slows, hand freezing on the handle to the chamber door. Ah, damn it all. What's a few moments of lost time to our centuries? To hell with it, I want the bastard caught too. It looks like you'll be here for a while. You have the unusual opportunity to speak with any of these high-profile kindred you wish, so long as they are receptive to your advances. At the other end of the chamber, Luca appears from a door to Corliss's right and whispers something in her ear. Maybe she has some new information. You haven't had much time to talk to her since she returned to Ottawa. But then again, there are significantly more powerful vampires here tonight who might be worthwhile to curry favor or seek knowledge from. Yeah, there's a lot of possibilities for why she acted the way she did. I still don't like her, though. It's strange, Fade says. I feel like Ophelia is watching me. The Primogen? You mean she's watching me, you ask. A slight pause. No. Watching me. I don't like it, Silas. I'm not used to being seen. You're saying she can actually see you? She's looking at me right now. You glance over at the corner where Ophelia is settled beside Kashif, startled to find that fate is correct. Ophelia is indeed watching him. That shouldn't be possible, you mutter. Sure, she's a seer, but that doesn't mean she should be able to see you. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. So suddenly there are rules now, Fade asks. No, we have to be ready for anything. The children of Malcave don't... Malcave. The children of Malcave don't follow rules. We bend them until they fit our purposes. You can't remember the last time he acted this seriously. How disturbing it must be to go through your entire existence being ignored, only to be subject to a glare from one of the most powerful people in the Sea of Chaos with no explanation whatsoever. We have to do something, you mutter back. We can't just stand here. We have to be social. By all means, Fade says. She's finally moved on. Maybe it was just a coincidence. Go curry favor, or whatever the fuck it is you do. He's rattled, but you can't exactly blame him. Best to get on with it. Wallflowers never climb the social ladder, after all. Well, why not? Why not? Ophelia and Kashif have very strong feelings about the meeting. And she was staring at my specter. This whole meeting reminds me of I hate politics and politicians. Yeah. Very much so. It's not as much about helping the situation as it is, first and foremost, helping yourself, and secondly, maybe helping the situation. Let's go talk to Ophelia, though. I want to start there. She was staring at Fade. You find the unlikely pair seated in the corner of the meeting room. Kashif nursing his wine glass, savoring the blood as he sips it through parched lips. He's wearing the same long robe as the last time you saw him in Corliss's office, only now it's slightly stained on the right arm. Blood, long dried and scrubbed. Its nature hidden from mortal senses, but not your own. He looks tired, drained, like he's in the middle of the longest night of his unlife. She is nothing what I remembered or expected her to look like. Very interesting. So this is Ophelia, the ancient Malkavian. I guess she's a lot younger than I expected, but also vampires stop aging. Drinking blood from a wine glass. Very 2000s edgy teenager fanfiction behavior. That's awesome. Ophelia looks up at you, piercing eyes staring through long blonde hair. I feel like I have to say the way you I hope your sire enjoys her conversation with the good sheriff as much as I did, she says, witheringly. He may mean well, but he asks more questions than most kindred will be comfortable with. Her eyes shift to Fade, watching closely. Speaking of uncomfortable, Fade says, do you think she can hear me? See me? He waves a hand in front of her face, but the Primogen doesn't react in the slightest. It's primarily an ASMR. Are you quite all right, Silas? Ophelia asks. She's looking right at you, but you swear you hadn't seen her eyes move away from Fade. Was she watching you the whole time? How is that possible? I think I'm going to pop off for a bit, Fade says. You can feel his skin crawling. I'm not used to being looked at. He disappears into the ether. You shake your head. You need to focus on the kindred who are actually here. I'm fine, Ophelia. Thank you for asking. A stray thought. A distraction is all. So many stray thoughts rattling around in that head. Like ghosts, Ophelia says. It's a wonder you can think straight with all that noise. That is a fascinating connection. Yeah. Can you see him? I asked bluntly. I don't know if she would appreciate... Bouchard, I know, appreciates the Nosferatu, like, being straightforward and blunt. We could ask him. But Ophelia, I don't know if she wants to be that direct. Should I? Should I just ask her right out? Should I just... Yeah, the question is if she'll answer right. It might be too direct for her. I think... I don't want to move past this, so we're picking either 2 or 3. Yeah, the second one might be a more subtle way to ask it, and I don't know if she would appreciate that or not. You like the second? Yeah. What do you mean when you say... noise? Are you looking in my head? Fuck what she would appreciate it. We aren't asking. Well, she is the Malkavian elder, and we are a Malkavian, so maybe we should. I don't know. Let's try it. I kind of want to go for 2, although I think 3 would be very interesting. But would our unhinged NB be so subtle? That is true. I don't know. We'll ask it. Of course not, Ophelia says. She looks quite scandalized, or at least she's pretending to be. Do you have the slightest idea of how much effort that would require? You don't, really, but you can guess. The ability to probe the depths of kindred mind for active thoughts is beyond your modest capacity. I can't imagine, you say. Kashif... Oh, should I reload and choose that other option? Should I? Can I? Restart the game? No. Come on. Where's restart the chapter? Is there a way to restart the chapter? I don't see it here. Quit the game. Restart the game. I really want to go back and try asking that. Should probably be more scandalized about a direct question. I see you on the Baldur's Gate 3 reload brain rot. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. I want to know what she would ask. Or what she would ask. What she would say. Cheating at D&D. Hey, I'm not cheating at D&D. I'm getting the story. I'm getting the story that I want to hear. The DM would let that roll pass if it was important to the plot. I know it. I'm the DM. Anyways. Kashif places his empty glass on a nearby table, replacing it with a full one. What is it we can do for you, neonate Moore? Not in that game you aren't. Oh, come on. I mean, you're kind of, right? Potato, potato. The DM can find new ways to reveal to you later. Or they can't! Some shit in Baldur's Gate just gets lost forever. I address Kashif. I address Ophelia. Let's talk to Ophelia more. She's a Malkavian. We are a Malkavian. You have to replay a good game. There's no way I'm seeing everything in that game. Once, twice, or 8 times over. That game is so full of everything. Let's address Ophelia. Is there something between you and Corliss that I can help smooth over? I know we all want to get out of here as soon as possible. Oh. Give up romancing Shadowheart. You know what I found out that's fucking devastating? It's a little bit of a spoiler, but people have been talking about it a lot. There's just about the content that was cut from the final release of Baldur's Gate 3. It involves a companion. Wait. How big of a spoiler? It's I'll just say that they had to cut a lot of content from the game when they released it fully, and so much of it is like hidden in the game's code that a lot of people think they'll be releasing it later as like a DLC or definitive edition. But some of the cut content involve good endings, whereas they decided to keep the bad endings. I'm not saying that in every case. There's plenty of good endings for the game. But there are a large number of good endings that I was very interested in that ended up getting cut from the game, and if you pursue down that same path, there is only a bad ending waiting for you. It's very sad. Yeah. That's all I'll say. I won't spoil it too much, but I just happened to see a thread of people talking about it on Reddit, and I was like, no, there's only... the thing I'm trying in my solo game will only lead to tears. Are you serious? You underestimate my love for angst. I'm sure... Well, it's not even... It's because there's a quest line. When you reach the city of Baldur's Gate itself, there was originally supposed to be two halves of the city, the lower city and the upper city, but they ended up cutting the entire upper city from the game. And there were a lot of quests built into the upper city that you can't access anymore, and some of the good endings require you to finish those quests. So they just took them out completely, which sucks, knowing that you could have had... There's few options for more good endings that you can't get because you can't complete the quests. I'm like a pro at this point. It hurts. It's like I could have done it. Release the content and I will do it. Oh well. I'll keep reading. Ophelia smiles abruptly. Of course, Silas. Thane. Yeah, it's like Thane, except if there was an option for a good ending with Thane, and they just took it out of the game because they didn't have time to finish it. And so, somewhere in there, he has a good ending, but all you can get are the bad endings. It's like that. Only a game as Baldur's Gate 3 makes you feel like this, man. It's true, right? The fact that I'm getting so worked up about it. I think it's only one companion in particular? There might be more. I'm sure each companion has different endings that end up getting cut from the game. But one companion in particular only has bad endings. It sucks. It hurts so bad. I haven't even met all the companions. I'll have to restart and do an evil run through to get the drow at some point. But, I think there's like 3 or 4 more companions that I haven't even met. Refuse to believe the fucking Morden and Miranda. I stared death in the face and outsmarted him. Couldn't pull. I know. Morden should have been able to fix it. Yeah. No, Thane's ending is so heartbreaking. Look at the frustration here. Anyways, of course, Silas, I appreciate the offer. But your sire already knows my concerns well enough. They might be news to you, though. He's the very model of a scientist Solarian. I love that little song. Cried every time. Fee, Kashif says. I shouldn't concern Silas with my personal troubles. Ophelia shakes off his hand. It should be said, Kashif. What needs to be said? That the prince's will must still be done until his return, Ophelia says. Kashif needs Arundel's help. He's been threatened for weeks, and now he's been assaulted. Kashif's eyes flick to Corlys on the other side of the room. It's gotten worse since I last spoke to your sire. I've been attacked in my own home during the daylight. The mortals knew when I would be awake to pray. If they'd come for me in my sleep. But perhaps their master wished to send a message. They did not expect God to protect me. They have learned otherwise. Fortunately, the attackers did not kill my guards. They only knocked them unconscious. He gestures to an empty chair beside him, and you sit. The news is disturbing. Maybe Corlys should be told. Interesting. I don't think we've met a heavily religious vampire before. It's quite an interesting mix to throw in there. It's even stranger that is this implying that he prays during the daytime? That must be brutal on his body. What? Thank you for respecting the spoiler. Oh, no, I know. It's such a good game. I've read a lot of spoilers myself, but even so, I only know one of the possible endings, and I know there are tons, and I think it all depends on which companions you bring with you and a lot of the routes you go down. Somebody said there's something like 10,000 different endings. I don't believe that. That's too many. I think there's probably 30, but I'm sure they're considering every possible combination of companions you could have, including no one or just you and one person. So like it's a factorial. It might change some of the cutscenes you get, or like some of the splashes you get during the final cutscene, but I don't think it counts as a complete different ending. You're in this other server where people talked about the game. They got mad at you. No, I definitely understand not wanting something to be spoiled. If I was here playing Baldur's Gate, and I was talking about the game, then it might be like a little different, like, hey, don't spoil this game. Well, then don't watch the game. But that's why you don't watch the game. As much as it might be sad, I definitely understand it. So no, I definitely understand that. You think it's the very minor details? Yeah, I think so. But there's so many endings. I don't want them all to be spoiled for me, and I'm sure I'm not going to get the one ending that I know about, because I've already kind of like missed that route. But I'm sure there's a lot of different possible endings. You like to nope out on the bigger moments. Aren't the Banu Hakim supposed to be in their own way? More religious? Are they? I know they are from the Middle East, but I don't know a lot about the Banu Hakim. How did mortals break into your haven? Do you have defenses in place? That must be offensive to ask. I'm sure he does. How can Ophelia be so sure that Arundel will return? What if he's dead? What if he's dead, Ophelia? I can pass a message on to Corlys if you'd like, but I can't guarantee she'll listen. That's the harsh truth. Think of the way the Banu Hakim are big on their own sense of justice. They are. Yeah, very much true. That's one of the few things I do know about them. Man, I'm so fucking pumped. Ugh! I'm sorry, I just like cream myself a little bit. Every time I think that Friday I'm going to be playing D&D for the first time in a while. It'll be good stuff. One of the people is even so pumped about playing D&D that he offered to cook. First of all, he offered to host. Second of all, he offered to cook for everybody coming over, which was like, I mean, dude, there's going to be like 7 of us. This is... Thanks. But that's a lot. Yay, snacks. Yeah, I'll definitely have to bring snacks and drinks and something, because that's a lot for him to cook for all of us. He's never played D&D before, but he knows a fair amount about it, so I think he's very excited. I think it'll be good. I wish I could host here, but I don't have enough chairs. My table is like a little tiny coffee table. I don't know if I can. It's kind of a small place. I'll see. Maybe I'll have to like rearrange to be able to host. I think I'm also one of the more out of the way people for the game. You're going to be DMing for the first time. That's awesome. I won't lie. Part of me, I don't know. Part of me really wants to like find a group to do like a little D&D, I don't know, podcast or YouTube series with or something. Be that guy, right? But I feel like that requires a very specific group of individuals. I don't mean that in like a weird way. I mean like it takes a content creator mind to want to do that. I'll shut up. Will you be streaming it? No, I won't be streaming this. It's not something I would jump on them, and I don't think all of them would quite be on board for it. Maybe down the line. Maybe. But I also wouldn't want to start streaming a campaign halfway through. I think we'd have to restart at the beginning of something. And I think some of them would be all for it. I think some of them wouldn't. But also I think the hardest bit is that it'd be a bit of an investment. I wouldn't want to do it cheaply. I wouldn't want to like have one mic in the middle of the table and a webcam. That'd be like kind of bad. I feel like I'd have to have little clip mics for everybody, which is probably 200 or 300. And then multiple webcams. I don't know. I'd want to do it right and make the production value be at least decent. Or you could save for a different campaign. I could. Maybe it's something to consider for the future. Doing an alien RPG. That'll be fun. Yeah, definitely. Anyways, I'm getting way too distracted. I got half an hour before I gotta go shred my titties out with a bunch of iron. What are we gonna say? Definitely not that first one. The second one, I'm a little worried that's like poking Ophelia. It's questioning her. The third one is, it's the truth, but I don't know if it gets us anywhere. Maybe we'll just go with the second one. Why do you think he's not dead? I'm getting the feeling that he's dead. I won't lie. I don't think this Arundel guy is ever coming back. Gives you guys to work out the diamond. That's not you. Oh, dear. Lets you save money, too. Yeah, yeah. No, I don't think I could afford that kind of investment right off the bat. Because it'd have to be like a set place. Oh, well. Something to think about. How can Ophelia be so sure? Ophelia. Oh, this is Kashif. Ophelia believes that nothing is amiss, Kashif says. That Arundel is still here, watching us. I dearly hope she is right. Have some faith, Kashif, Ophelia says with a patient smile. There's nothing to be gained by jumping to conclusions. Kashif spreads his hands. Who am I to tell her otherwise until we have proof? The entire city's in turmoil. It's clearly more than an unannounced absence. I'm sure you must see that, Ophelia. I could. Yeah, but again, it's not something I could just, like, say, hey guys, I bought all the stuff we need to do this. I'll see. I'll work it out. I also don't plan in staying on in this little cottage that I'm in for, longer than I have to, I guess. Especially when I keep seeing, like, places for the same price, but bigger. Oh well, we'll see. I'll work something out. I understand what you're saying, but Arundel hasn't been seen for several nights, which is quite unusual for him without an announcement beforehand. I think growing concern is understandable. Yeah, I think that might be the best one. Maybe Ophelia's right. Maybe she's not. I understand, but also you're wrong. Kashif shakes his head and replies to you. I've seen entire cities razed to the ground, while both mortals and kindred did nothing but posture and play games. Such things should be absurd, but my experience tells me otherwise. This eternal struggle we weave is an elaborate game, Silas. Never let anyone tell you otherwise. I thought things would be different here in the Americas. And things are different, don't misunderstand me. But the worst elements of our culture remain unchanged when one peers past the window dressing. I'll be honest, out of everyone so far, Kashif and Key have kind of been the most straightforward and truthful with me. You're forced to leave your home by a mass-murdering blood god. Surely, this has to be better than that. True, little rude. I'm truly sorry. You've come here only to face renewed hardships. Please let me know. Please let me know how I can be of help. I stumble over my words so much. Especially with the Den of Vipers. Yeah. Do you think you'll ever be able to return home? Do you miss that? Should we offer our help to Kashif? Are we Kashif and Key? All in for Key. Well, yeah, I know we're all in for Key. But what about Kashif here? I think one of the bottom two. Do you ever return home? Do you miss it? It's kind of like, who cares? I'm leaning towards this middle one. But I don't know if we should trust Kashif quite that much. At the very beginning, before we were a little sussy of Corliss, which, after seeing that Vivian is actually a little more suspicious. I don't know if we should be as suspicious of Corliss. Maybe she was catching on to what we caught on. I don't know, it's hard. Qui-Gon. Oh dear. D, please. What do people think of us so far? Corliss really likes us. Kashif does not very much. Alicia hates us. Ward hates us. Understandably, he tried killing us. The first one is so tempting. Oh, it's so rude. He won't like us if we do that. Key and Corliss are kind of tied. You know, there's no tact at all. Yeah. There's no harm. You know, there's no harm in offering help, right? Right? Why not? I'm truly sorry. Please let me know how I can be of help. But also, please don't ask for help. D, please. Like the playful military ripping. Oh, yeah, that's fair. Again, you humble me, Kashif says. Unfortunately, there is little you can do, aside from pleading my case once again to your sire. It is the way of the Camarilla's ivory tower. Age and power supersede wisdom and compassion. We may beg and plead, but our elders only answer our call when it behooves them to do so. Our belief in justice has been tested, but we also believe in a chain of command. I've noticed many young Camarilla appear to worship their elders as gods. He nods toward Corliss on the other side of the room. Would you cry out to your sire were you to find yourself in dire peril? Would you do everything in your power to keep her safe? And more importantly, is her word your law? He's fishing for something. His question has the feel of a test. You hesitate a moment before giving your answer. Fuck. Shit, Garrus, you were always ugly. I feel, yeah, but Garrus would understand that kind of humor. I don't know if Kashif here would. Care Bear is best boy. I owe Corliss many things, but I do not worship her. I follow my own path and obey her commands as I see fit. I do as my sire commands. I am an instrument of her will. I don't see a difference. That's funny. I respect Corliss and follow her commands, but she is no god. I think we might choose that one. She is flawed. She is as flawed a creature as the rest of us. She brought me into this world without my consent, so I owe her nothing. I think I might choose I respect her, but she is no god. The third sounds the best. Yeah, that's what I think as well. A wise answer, Kashif says. There is far too much chaos in our world as it is, without Childer disrespecting their sires. Despite his positive response, he looks vaguely disappointed. Ophelia gently puts her hand on the vizier's arm and looks up at you. Would you excuse us for a moment, Silas? We need to have a private conversation. Of course, you reply. How do I restart? I just want to ask her. Restart the game. Change the settings? Come on. Storytell, bookmark mode, bookmark, turn on bookmark. I have to reach the end of the chapter to do this. Fuck. That means I'm gonna have to skip through everything just to get back to the beginning. And what if it doesn't work? Then we're fucked. Fuck it. I need to know. I chose the wrong answer. You guys are right. I should have been blunt. Turn on bookmark mode. Allow you to roll back your decisions at the end of each chapter. Alright. Where's the end of the chapter? Where's the end of the chapter? Where's the end of the chapter? Chapter! Come on, come on. No! How do I restart? How do I restart? How do I restart? How do I restart? Keyboard shortcuts? That, scroll down, up, down, restart, restart. Yes, I'd like to restore. Yes, there we go. All right, I'm just going through really quick to choose the same options that we chose last time. Suspicious, call it out. Yes. Right. I'd like to talk with Ophelia. Here we go. This is what I wanted. I just whipped myself in the eyeball. Can you see him? I asked bluntly. See who, Silas? Fuck off, you bitch. I just whipped my hair into my eye. That hurt a little bit. She seems genuinely puzzled. Odd. You think fast. Bouchard. Fuck off. Fuck off. Fuck off. Whatever. Damn it. You had to know. Oh, I know she wouldn't answer. But she seems genuinely puzzled. How can you be so sure she'll return? Let's see. I understand. Concern is understandable. She is no god. A wise answer, yes. All right, here we are. We're back to where we meant. Would you excuse us for a minute? Minute? I need to have a private conversation. Of course, you reply, and give her the finger for making me restart the entire chapter. There's no point in offending them, aside from giving them the good old 1-2, although the abruptness of the dismissal stings. The two of you have a good evening. We should speak again, the Banu Hakim offers. Good evening, neonate more. The entry door to the meeting hall bursts open, admitting 3 heavily muscled men in black suits leading a small group of mortals, sedated by the looks of it. You hear a nearby voice make a joke about ordering room service. One of the men adjusts his collar uncomfortably. Courtesy the sheriff. In appreciation for your patience, Key calls out from the other side of the room where he's interviewing the attendees one by one. You look back and forth between the sheriff and his mortal offerings with momentary confusion. This strikes you as unusual. Is Key trying to prove something to the Prowgen? A show of power? At least, it seems to have calmed down some of the anger in the room already. Maybe that was the goal. Either way, it's an extravagant gift. Drawn by a hunger that's never truly sated, you approach the shambling meal along with the others, each pairing off with a victim before they break away. When you grab hold of yours, however, her eyes widen with terror as she attempts to pull away. Her lips tremble. Please, she stutters. I didn't know what I was getting into. I didn't know. She's struggling to get the words out. Whatever Key's men used to drug her clearly isn't working as well as it did on the others. Her dark curled hair is slick with sweat pooling on her forehead. I can pay whatever you want. Just don't make me forget again. I don't even know how many times I've done this. How many times... I think I'm going insane. Fade's face falls into a deep frown. That room service comment wasn't far off the mark, he says. Key's gotta be desperate if he's pulling this kind of favor to keep the peace. I don't care what my food has to say. I pull her aside and shut her up by drinking. I don't feel entirely comfortable, but I have to feed. Once I feed, I will bite. My bite will calm her nerves. Fascinating. Ruthless and cordial. We are a bit more cordial than we are ruthless. So this is probably what this option will change. Subversive and loyal. Interesting. I can't do this. Drinking from an unaware mortal is one thing, but I have no desire to terrorize them. Second one, we do need a little bit of food. Oh dear. Sorry, sweetie. Perhaps you've become too accustomed to having your meals delivered to you in an entirely willing form. But your discomfort is not enough to overcome the irresistible urges of your undead craving for blood. You sink your fangs into her neck and drink deep, savoring the blood's sweet taste. You can't be certain, but you believe the woman is high society. If not, she's been well kept and comfortable. You feel an immediate relief as you slake your thirst before removing your fangs from her neck, licking the wounds closed with a quick swipe of your tongue. It's almost second nature to you now. The well-dressed thugs take her from you, and she follows them without a word. Legs unsteady, a slight smile plastered on her face. There's no sign of the scared woman you'd seen just a minute before, only the glossy eyes of Chattel. Chattel? Like cattle? Chattel, what? She wasn't quite a blood doll. No, not really. A personal possession. Interesting. Well-Dressed Thugs is a good band name. That's true. That's funny. You hear Key call out for another interviewee from the side of the room. Looks like you'll be here for a while yet. How much time do you have to play? I have about 40 more minutes. 40 more. No, 15 or 20 more. I'd like to talk with Bouchard. He's the old horror stars. The old horror stars on the rise. Knowing more about him could be useful in the future. Corliss might want to debrief me before everyone else leaves. I go to the front of the room and speak with my sire. I want to spend more time with Jordan. He has first-hand knowledge. I find the Tremere, Heinrich Lang. Luca is done speaking to Corliss. It could be interesting to learn more about her. Yeah, bit of a yikes. It is awful. I want to talk with Bouchard just because we didn't earlier, and I really like his character. So we're going to do that. Ah, Silas. Bouchard greets you. Do let your sire know that my backing of her methods was not intended to be gauche. Gauche? Gauche? I genuinely cannot stand Miss Grey, and hatred runs deep in one as old as I am. He's still wearing the mask of middle-aged mortal over his grotesque features. It seems the Key is enjoying his little display, grandstanding in front of the Primogen Council as if any of us couldn't wipe the floor with him single-handedly. Well, he is the sheriff. He's only doing what Arundo would expect of him. He should know better than to peacock like that when so much is at stake. I agree with you, this isn't about him. Key earned his position as sheriff, and his combat skills are unrivaled. I wouldn't underestimate him. I don't think he's grandstanding. He's just doing what needs to be done. This is a serious issue. I think 2 or 4, and I realize those are very kind of opposites from each other. Jack. Jet. What? No. Hold on. I must not be reading that correctly. Gauche. What?
Gauche.
Stop. Spotify, please wait.
Gauche. Gauche.
Gauche.
Gauche.
Gauche. Gauche. Okay. Gauche. Gauche. Oh well. Some strange words in the English language. I'm glad that's not my first language. Anyways. It's not an English word. True, but it is now. You know what? We're for key all the way. Let's choose that last one. Yeah, imagine knowing English, right? Pfft. Bah. Bouchard grunts. What do you know, child? He motions you over to a table away from the exit, and you sit beside him. I noticed you looking at my mask. I was hoping to display some civility at such an unusual gathering, but leave it to Alicia to attack me for trying to be polite. My face is made for the sewers, and scaring the hell out of anyone who crosses me before I kill them. Does it do me a disservice? My talents don't lend themselves to this high society nonsense. Able to see the mask closer now, you can tell it's extremely finely painted with an eye for detail. Delicate and stately, a masterwork and one of a kind. But does that mean he should be wearing it to a meeting of powerful kindred? Fade kneels down right in front of Bouchard's face and looks over the mask. Impressive, but I don't get it. I think the Fade in this game doesn't wear a mask himself, otherwise that would be a little hypocritical. He'd look a lot more intimidating without it. But hey, points for flair. He fades away to give you an unobstructed view of the exquisite work of art, adorning what might be the ugliest face you have ever seen. It's a beautiful mask, high quality and worthy of the Primogen Council. I think it's unnecessary. You shouldn't need to hide your face in a meeting of kindred. Be proud of who you are. The mask could impress some, but have the opposite effect on others. As with anything, it's all about getting the results you want. Bouchard is not going to like if we take a middle ground. Bouchard, yeah. I feel like his voice teeters towards Tor a little bit. I try not to make it the same. You like the second? So do I. It seems like Fade kind of did too. I think it's unnecessary, man. They know who you are. Pride is for weak-willed neonates who haven't lived long enough to realize that nobody cares what you think about yourself, Bouchard says. Perhaps you're right. I don't think I'll wear this again. Looks better when hung in my office anyway. But you don't wish to speak to me about my affections. What is it you want? Oh, did he like that or not? 30%. I think that lowered a little bit. It's been suggested that all the other kindred are looking to take power and stop Corliss from taking Rundo's place. Aiding her could prove mutually beneficial. We can use the knowledge during... We can all use knowledge during these chaotic times. I was hoping to learn from your background in local politics and history. I wanted to ask you about Ottawa's sewer system and how it interconnects with nearby cities. I'm told you know every twist and turn below your feet. I think he'll like that last option. Seeing that we didn't give him an option he liked at first, maybe we should choose that. My face is made for the sewers. There's a euphemism somewhere there. Bouchard laughs, and surprisingly, you don't detect any malice behind it. If only all kindred were as straightforward. I find your enthusiasm refreshing. Perhaps we could find a mutually beneficial arrangement. Visit me in my haven later this week, and we will discuss what you can offer me in exchange for my tutelage. He clears his throat. It's a decisively unappetizing sound. What do you think of those two? He points to Kashif and Ophelia, where they're sitting together in a nearby corner. An Assamite and a lunatic playing house together. I'm not too much of a political animal, but even I find the relationship intriguing. Did you know that they're sleeping together? He shakes his head. Not in a carnal sense, at least I don't believe so. But it's unusual, nonetheless. I know. He missed the point entirely. It's because, I mean, to be fair, most Nosferatu really struggle with feeling proud of themselves. I spoke with them earlier, and I believe their relationship is genuine. No, I didn't get that impression. Their association is a ticking time bomb. Maybe that's the best option. What's so strange about it? That won't go over well. She shouldn't be seen with him. I agree with Lang. Do we agree with Lang? Do we? Their love isn't really any of my business. I prefer to keep out of it. I don't know them well, but they seem to make a good couple. All right. I guess number 2 is the only viable option unless we agree with Lang, which I don't know if we do. Bouchard nods earnestly. It's good that not everyone is falling for their bullshit. A woman is as mad as the sun is deadly. Arundel's good friend, Kashif, will be in for a surprise of his life when she finally turns on him. How can you be so sure that she will turn? You ask, before thinking better of it. She's a strange one, Bouchard says. Watching her work her room from afar makes it blatantly obvious that she doesn't believe a word anyone else says. He points at his twisted lips. It's behind the smile. You could tell her that fire is bad for her health, and she'd respond by waxing philosophical about the regenerative properties of the flame. Make it up on the spot, and you'd swear she believes every word she's saying. You really don't like her, do you, Bouchard? What do you think she's looking to get out of Kashif by pretending to be with him? That definitely seems like that. It seems like Kashif is looking for allies he can find wherever he can find them. But she does seem like she's using him a little bit. What do you think she's looking to get out of it? Why would any power-hungry kindred latch onto something unique and powerful? It's obvious, isn't it? The list is very short. Social status. Insight into the assassin's unique blood rituals. Anything she can use to get a leg up on the competition. Can she even use the blood rituals? You ask. You're pretty sure the answer is no. Bouchard shrugs. I've seen stranger things in my centuries, child. I once saw a Bruja fleshcraft himself a new face. An unlikely thing, but we're all unlikely things in our own ways. Nothing is a certainty. Can a Malkavian use magic? Unlikely. But what if the Assamite could teach her somehow? That could be the very question she's trying to answer at the moment. Now, I'm afraid I must say good evening to you. I believe our puffed-up sheriff is gesturing at me. He waves a boil-pocked finger in Key's direction before pushing his chair back and stalking over for his interview. You remain seated for several minutes before finally shaking off a bolt of melancholy. You should be about your business. My naive ass wanting to leave the vampires with their little total genuine tryst. Yeah, no. On Vampire the Masquerade, it is all... everything has another purpose behind it. Noticing that you're finally alone, Alicia Gray sachets in your direction. The diva's eyes meet your own, and for a moment, you're lost in her radiance. The spell, however, is rather diminished when she nearly trips over Lang's briefcase. She recovers with her usual grace, pushing the perfect hair out of her eyes with an elegant sweep of the wrist, while summarily ignoring the warlock's baleful glower as he snatches the case closer to his person. Fade tries and fails to hold in a raucous belly laugh. She thinks she's so suave. Does she think nobody noticed? You're glad you're the only one who can hear the rude commentary. It wouldn't go over in court at all. You have to admit, though, even if to only yourself, that the gaffe was almost enough to put a smile on your face. Clumsy of me, Alicia says with a melodious laugh. Oh my god. You love Alicia. Could be part of delusion. If you think she's trying to wax put a fire. Melodious, yeah. I am sleepy today. Ooh. Melodious laugh that reminds you of a light wind brushing against chimes. You've been quite the social butterfly tonight, Silas. Angling for a more prominent position? What do you think of us, Alicia? Right off the bat, kind of shit. What do we think of you? I don't know. You were a bit rude to Bouchard, and I don't like that. Never hurts to get to know the competition, you say with a wink. I kind of like that. Fuck her. Can we? Why not? The first one's kind of unhinged enough. Like, yeah, sure. Just socializing like normal people. Not really, I just want to be polite and socialize like the rest of us. It's not like we can go anywhere. Wink wonk. Yes, a wink at her. You like that or the second one? Yeah. I'll go with the first one. I think it's funny. A kindred after my own heart. She plays her fingers along the plunging neckline of her dress, and you do your best to ignore it. I wanted to invite you to my latest exhibit tomorrow evening. I know that there's a distinct lack of notice on my part, but what is art without spontaneity? Besides, I think we've all had our fill of dreary topics. Anarchs, petty swabbles, crucifixion, blah, blah, blah. Everyone who's anyone is going to be there. Nice. Fuck off. I don't think she cares how we answer. Sounds intriguing. Alicia is my self-insert character. I'm not much for art, best with the show. I'll show if I have the opportunity, but I can't make promises. I never miss a chance to see one of your exhibits, Alicia. I'll see you there! We'll go with the first one. Sounds intriguing. She's already drifting off to reel in another invitee. Don't be left out in the rain, Silas. Social capital is king. You hear Key call out for another interviewee on the side of the room. Looks like he's not quite done yet. There should be enough time for one last conversation. But that might be where I leave this. Maybe we can decide who to go with. And then I'll go. We got Corliss, Jordan, Heinrich Lang. Oh, so Lang is not his first. Why are we all addressing him by his last name? Strange. Oh well. Heinrich Lang and Luca. Everybody else we addressed by their first names. Why? Unless that is like, that is his first name, Heinrich Lang? It is better than, yeah, it's true. It is a better name than Heinrich. Maybe like that, the together. He's Heinrich Lang, and something else. Oh well. We can decide. I don't know if we need to talk to Jordan about this. We were with him. I'm kind of leaning towards Luca, because we haven't really gotten to talk to her yet, and she is supposed to be, I think, our older sister? Okay, there it goes. Luca! Oh, interesting. Also, not how I remembered her looking at all. For some reason, I pictured, like, a much more gothy character. I think I did with Ophelia as well. Oh, well. Interesting. Yeah, she does have very pretty hair. But I will leave it there for now.